All right, so we're gonna go through this story. A forest is full of life. When you get into A to Z, you're gonna find this story in your assignment page. Okay, so by looking at the cover, I would really like to go there. So we're gonna underline the title. So remember your box of things that you can write on the book with is up in the on the top. Mine's on the side. So you gotta find yours and do it how you need to do it. So we're gonna underline the title and we're gonna circle the author. So I'm gonna get the pen tool and I'm gonna do, let's do yellow, and I'm gonna underline the title. So actually, I think I'm gonna circle the title because it's too close together. So I'm gonna do the opposite. I'm gonna circle the title, and I'm gonna underline the author, written by Judith Lipsett. There we go. All right, so the title of our story is A Forest is Full of Life. Right away, if I'm thinking, is a forest real or is it fake? So I know a forest is real. Okay, so what kind of genres do I know are real? I know there's nonfiction, so not fake. I know there's expository, giving you real information and facts. So let's see what we're going to find out. What do you think this story is going to be about? How do you think the title, how well do you think the title tells us about the story? A forest is full of life. I think it's probably going to be about a forest because it says it in the title. And maybe it's going to go through a lot of animals in the forest. Maybe some birds or some, maybe some frogs. That's my prediction. Okay, so now we're going to go to the next page. So it's the same title page, now with a little raccoon on it. All right, our table of contents. So our table of contents, we see the title of the page, so maybe a subheading of some sort, and we see the page number over here in this section. So we see what's on it and where to find it. So we're going to go through the first one. Here we have an owl all year long. So that's our subheading. That is going to tell me about this page. On bright summer days and frozen winter nights, and all year long, a forest is full of life. What do you think the author is talking about when she says the forest is full of life? Make a list in the space above some of the life you think is in the forest. So make a list. So you can make a list here, you can make a list, you can make a text box with a T, a text box, and you can make a list. It isn't anywhere on the page. So it says, on bright summer days and frozen winter nights, and all year long, a forest is full of life. So what do you think the author is talking about when she says full of life? So I think there are many animals that live in the forest. Like I said, birds and frogs. Okay, so that's my thought. That's my prediction. We don't know yet because we haven't gone through it, but I see a bird in this picture. It's an owl, so maybe there's birds in the forest. So you're gonna write down something. So think of something and write it down there. Make a text box. All right. So next we see this. Oops. not yet. Next, we see this picture, and it has some labels to it. So a forest is full of trees and other plants. So here are your forest levels. A canopy, so the very, very top part. Tall trees like pine, maple, and oak. Understory, small trees and bushes. And the forest floor, grasses, mosses, and ferns. So we have 3 layers to this forest. The diagram tells about different levels of the forest. What do you think that means? Let's read the information in the chart. So here's your chart. The diagram helps you understand the levels of the forest. So it helps me, I can see it. So the canopy is all the very, very tall trees. It's the very top. The understory is under the canopy. It's a little bit smaller. And then the forest floor is on the floor. Grass, moss, and ferns. So these plants right here. So it's actually a very helpful diagram. All right, next. A forest is full of animals. So it talked about plants, and now it's talking about animals. Big bears and tiny bugs, swift deer and slow slugs all live in a forest. Some animals eat only plants. Some animals eat both plants and animals. Others, like owls, eat only animals. Forest food web. So predators are animals that eat other animals. They might eat plants, but usually not. So you have cougars and bears, which eat our deer. We have foxes, owls, possums, and birds that eat smaller animals. So rabbits, mice, squirrels, birds, insects. And then these animals that are here eat plants. So they eat stuff from the trees, the bushes, flowers, ferns, and grasses. An adjective is a word that describes or tells about a noun. We know a noun is a person, a place, or a thing. Read the sentence, read the second sentence on this page. So here's your first sentence, your second sentence. Big bears and tiny bugs, swift deer and slow slugs all live in a forest. Underline all of the nouns and highlight the adjectives that describe them. So we know a noun is a person, a place, or a thing. So an animal is a noun. It's not a person. It's not really a thing. It's not an object, but it is a noun. So we are going to underline the noun, and we're going to highlight the adjective that describes it. I'm going to get my pencil tool. I'm going to pick yellow. I'm going to stay with yellow. So my noun, bears, bugs, deer, and slug. Highlighter, and I'm going to do blue. Let's see if I like it. All right, so bear is the noun. So the adjective describes the bear. What kind of bear? So big bear, okay? The adjective to the word is usually in front of it, but not always. Okay, so here's our next one. Bugs, that's a noun. It's a thing, it's a creature. What word describes bugs? What kind of bugs are we talking about? So right here, tiny. Deer, what kind of deer? Swift. And then slugs. What word describes slugs? What's my adjective for the word slugs? Slow. All right, so now we're going to highlight the animals that only eat plants. Okay, so it says plant eaters. So these animals right here are the ones that only eat plants. So deer, rabbits, mice, squirrels, birds, and insects only eat plants. Then we're going to use the pen tool, the blue, And we're gonna circle the animals that only eat other animals. So the ones that only eat other animals, what does these are plant eaters? Some may also eat plants. So we're not really sure because, oh, actually, others, like owls, eat only animals. So if we look at it, on top it says these are predators, and they may eat some plants. So they don't only eat animals. But if I'm reading my story and I'm looking at my diagram, it says others, like owls, eat only animals. So anything that's categorized with owls is only going to eat animals. So we're going to highlight that right here. We're not highlight, we're going to circle it. So foxes, owls, possums, and birds. All right. Next. Summer. A forest is full of play. Summer brings shady green leaves and long hot days. Animal babies run, climb, and grow. So when we're looking at nonfiction text like this, sometimes the author uses a subheading. So every subheading talks about something different. So here, we're going to use yellow. Here is my subheading for this one. So if I'm looking, I can find the noun and the adjective, the word that describes that noun. So summer, thing, brings shady green leaves. So I know leaves are things. What kind of leaves? Shady and green. We have two words, two adjectives that describe leaves. Remember, it's in front of it. Not always, but usually. And then, and long, hot days. What kind of days? They're long and hot. Animal babies run, climb, and grow. What kind of babies? Animal babies. And what do? It's their verb. They run, they climb, and they grow. Yet, even in summer, the forest floor is cool and dark. Ants and beetles chomp, chomp, chomp on old leaves, making new soil where seeds can sprout. So remember when we saw the diagram of the top, the middle, and the bottom of the forest floor? So the forest floor, even in the summer, is going to be cool and dark because it has that canopy above it. And then it also has trees that are in the middle. It's on the very, very bottom. So it's going to get dark. I see a lot of adjectives on this page. I want you to put a star next to each adjective you find on this page. So I'm going to underline the noun. I want you to put a star by your adjective. So I'm gonna underline. Yet even in summer, the forest floor is cool and dark. Ants and beetles, chomp, chomp, chomp. Okay, so we have the word floor. It's a place or a thing. We have leaves. We have soil. All right. So 3 nouns I'm going to underline for you. And I want you to put a star next to the adjective that describes the noun that I underlined. So we're looking at this page. How are ants and beetles important to the forest? So let's see. Ants and beetles chomp, chomp, chomp on old leaves, making new soil where seeds can sprout. So they're important because they eat the old leaves and they create new soil so new seeds can sprout and new trees can grow. So you get a tiny little creature is important. Okay. Next, fall. A forest is full of gold. In fall, the oaks and the maples wear their beautiful jewels, but not for long. I don't see any jewels on this tree. What do you think the author means? And why won't it be around for long? Why won't it be around for long? So when I'm looking at this picture, I don't see any jewels. The oaks and maples wear their beautiful jewels. So I don't know what they're talking about with jewels. I don't see jewels, but if I'm looking at the picture, I see leaves and different colors. They're yellow. Usually we see leaves that are green, but these are yellow. So in some places, the leaves change color in the fall, and they fall off the tree, but not for long. Means the season of fall is not very long, so they fall off quickly. There you have fall this year. Soon the air turns cooler. Time for winter. Squirrels scurry to berry and surfers by more places. Oh, now it's on winter. A forest will snow. Snow covers the ground and brushes with its cold lasting. Many have lost their leaves. Others are snuggled in their needle-like leaves. We don't really have snow like that at all, but in some places they do. Okay, so bears sleep nearly all winter, but deer must search for food. They nibble dry grass at the edge of the snow. Ooh, I would definitely need a thick sweater, and maybe a hat, and maybe some gloves if I was in this snow. That looks way too cold for me. So how do you think the winter is different than the fall in the forest? I want you to make a text box and tell me how you think the winter is different than the fall in the forest. Ooh, too cold for me. Spring, my favorite season. A forest is full of green. In spring, melting snow gives water to the thirsty plants and animals. New leaves turn the bare branches green. So remember in fall when the leaves fell, they left those branches all bare. There was nothing on them. So in the last section, there was a lot of snow on the ground. In the spring, there's no snow because it melted. So what do you think the word melt means? We already know this, we've seen it in class. What does that word melt mean? It's one of our science words. So if you're thinking that melt means turn from a solid to a liquid, you're correct. It's like when we have our ice cream bars, we don't finish them in lunch and then they're all liquidy. Yeah, same thing. Bugs begin buzzing and birds that left return. So all the birds that left, because it was like, nope, too cold, I'm not staying here. They came back because it's starting to get warmer. But in the book, we read about 4 different seasons of the year. How the forest looks during each season. So I want you to think about it and think of all the different seasons that we read about and how they're different. A forest is full of life all year long. Okay, so we have another text feature. What is this? Think about it, think about it. What is this? It's a map. So we have our continents. We have North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, Australia, and we know that on the bottom is Antarctica. It's too cold there. And there's no real forest. It's more of a desert because there's not a lot of rain. Remember we talked about that? So here, our legend, it tells us forests, like the ones that we read in the book, and other types of forests. So in North America, there's some that we talked about in the book. In Europe, there's a lot. In Asia, there's a little bit. In Australia, there's a little bit. There's none in Africa, and there's none in South America. There's no forests like the ones that we saw in the book in those two continents. But they have other kind of forests. So here is your glossary. It's in the back. It tells you what different words mean in the book. So bury, forest, and nibble, prepare, scurry, search, soil, sprout. Those were all words in the book, and it gives you the definition of what it means right here and what page to find it on. So if you're like, I don't know what this word means, look in the glossary, it might tell you there. All right, that's it for now.